A long-hidden letter from Princess Diana has just been revealed, and its heartbreaking message to Prince Harry is shaking the royal world. Written just months before her death, the emotional note left Prince William in tears. Why now? What did it say? And why was it kept secret for decades? The discovery of the hidden note. The royal world was rocked when a never-before-seen letter written by Princess Diana came to light. And it wasn't just any letter. This emotional message, handwritten on Kensington Palace stationery and dated just months before her death in 1997, had been kept in total secrecy for over 25 years. Its contents were private, powerful, and clearly meant for Prince Harry. The note was reportedly found inside a private archive belonging to one of Diana's former staff members. During a personal inventory of items long locked away, this one envelope stood out. It wasn't catalogued, and no public record of it existed. Experts quickly verified the handwriting, graceful, slanted, and unmistakably Diana's. But what truly caught attention were the words inside. "I hope the seeds I've planted will grow in ways the world can't destroy," the note reads. Quiet, haunting, and full of meaning. A sentence that now feels prophetic. Unlike Diana's public letters or interviews, this message wasn't shaped for cameras or headlines. It was raw, real, and filled with a mother's silent worries. Why was it kept hidden for so long? Some insiders claim it was held back intentionally to protect the princes, especially Harry. Others believe the letter was simply misplaced and forgotten until now. But either way, the timing of its discovery, when Harry's relationship with the royal family is already fractured, adds a fresh layer of drama. And the reaction? Royal circles buzzed with disbelief. Veteran commentators called it the most important private document since Diana's death. Across social media, fans of the late princess shared the letter in pieces, quoting her tender lines, while others pointed fingers asking, "Why now? Who leaked it? And what does it mean for Harry and William?" This isn't just a letter. It's a key to Diana's heart, and the first real sign that she may have seen what was coming all along. And what's actually in this message? The next part reveals the heartfelt words that left the world speechless. The content of the note. Diana's heartfelt message. The letter itself is only a few paragraphs long, but every sentence hits hard. It begins gently. "My darling Harry, you are so loved." Simple words, but in Diana's voice, they carry the warmth of a mother who knew her time was limited. There's no mention of crowns or titles, only love, trust, and hope. She writes about the future, not in royal terms, but in personal ones. Diana says she hopes Harry never lets the noise of the world drown out his heart. She talks about kindness, courage, and making choices that reflect who he truly is. A powerful line stands out. "You may not always walk the path they expect, but walk it anyway, as long as it's yours." For many, it feels like Diana was giving her blessing to the life Harry eventually chose. The tone of the note is tender, but layered with concern. There's clear emotion behind her words, almost as if she feared what was to come. She mentions wanting to shield her sons from what she calls the crushing weight of expectation. And you can feel her desperation in every line. She doesn't name names, but the message is clear. The palace, the press, and the pressure were already closing in. What's most remarkable is how intimate the letter is. Diana doesn't write like a royal, she writes like a mother, speaking directly to her son's soul. Her words don't follow formal structure. They flow with love, regret, hope, and urgency. And for Harry, reading this now, as a father himself, outside the royal institution. It must feel like a message through time. "Never forget who you are when no one is looking," she ends. A final whisper from a mother taken too soon. The note is more than touching. It's a quiet roadmap for Harry's life, penned in a moment only she and he were meant to share. But as emotional as this is for Harry, the letter held a different kind of pain for William, and what happened next left him in tears. That story comes next. The brotherly bond, William and Harry before the rift. Before the cameras, the scandals, and the silence, there were just two little boys. Prince William and Prince Harry were once inseparable, their bond built not in palaces, but in pain. After the messy divorce of 1996, and then the tragedy of August 31st, 1997, they were each other's entire world. Diana often wrote about their closeness in other letters. One message, now held in private family archives, describes William as pouring an endless supply of hugs and kisses on his baby brother. She adored watching them grow together. "Their laughter fills the halls," she once wrote. In her eyes, they weren't future kings or spares, just children trying to survive a spotlight no child should know. That's what makes this newly discovered letter to Harry even more powerful. Because though it's addressed to just one son, William is everywhere in the subtext. Diana talks about the strength you two give each other, and mentions how important it is to protect one another when I no longer can. She never imagined the day would come when they would be separated, not just by geography, but by resentment. Childhood photos show it all. William with a protective arm around Harry, Harry looking up to his brother with pure trust. They were teammates in grief, side by side, behind that hearse on the day of Diana's funeral, only 12 and 15 years old. And that's what makes the current reality so tragic. The loving bond Diana witnessed, the one she tried so hard to nurture, has shattered. That love, captured forever in her words, is now a painful reminder of what's been lost. And maybe that's exactly what Diana feared. Her note didn't just hold love, it held a quiet warning. And that's what we uncover next. The hidden warning? Diana's unspoken fears. As gentle and loving as the letter is, one line lingers in the mind long after reading. "I hope the seeds I've planted will grow." It's a beautiful sentence, but also a haunting one, because it reads not like a confident wish, but like a worry. By 1997, Diana knew exactly what royal life could do to people, how it broke her, isolated her, and crushed her spirit. She didn't want that future for her sons. And reading between the lines of this letter, it's clear she feared that Harry, in particular, would be vulnerable. She doesn't say press, but she talks about noise. She doesn't say institution, but refers to expectations that aren't yours. For those who've followed Harry's journey, stepping back from duties, his battles with the media, the Oprah interview, it's impossible not to see how this note feels eerily prophetic. More than anything, Diana's words suggest that she knew time was running out, that her influence on their lives would have to live on without her. The seeds she refers to? Love, kindness, independence. She hoped they'd take root before the palace. The tabloids and tradition swallowed her sons whole. And perhaps most revealing is what she doesn't say. There are no mentions of specific titles or royal duties, no talk of crown or country, just life, heart, and freedom. It feels as if Diana was planting not just a message, but an escape plan, one she feared only Harry might be brave enough to follow. "Don't let them change you," she writes. And now, decades later, that warning feels like it was written for the very headlines we're reading today. But no one was prepared for how this letter would hit William. Because for the older brother, the one expected to carry on the crown, it opened old wounds and left him in tears. William's emotional reaction while left in tears. When Prince William read the letter, those around him say it was like reopening a wound that had never really healed. While the message was addressed to Harry, it shook William to his core, not because he was mentioned, but because he wasn't. Diana's love for her younger son was so strong, so raw, and so filled with unspoken fears that William couldn't help but question. Had he failed to protect his brother? Sources close to the royal family revealed that William was visibly emotional when the note was shown to him. A senior aide reportedly described the moment as deeply private and painful. For a man who has spent more than 2 decades holding the royal line, holding his family together, this note made everything fall apart, even if just for a moment. There's a line in the letter that many believe triggered his tears. "Protect each other when I no longer can." It was a quiet request from their mother, a plea made in love. And yet, here they were in 2024, barely speaking, separated by oceans and ideology. William, the future king, had let the bond Diana cherished fall apart. But it's more than guilt. William has carried the weight of duty since he was just 15, walking behind his mother's coffin in 1997. He's always been the one expected to endure, quietly, stoically. The letter reopened his grief, not just for Diana, but for the brother he no longer recognizes. A brother who once shared his every childhood memory, now a stranger. There's also the pain of being left out. The message was personal, specific, and directed at Harry. Though Diana loved both her sons fiercely, the letter's focus felt like a soft spotlight on Harry alone. William may have wondered, was there a message for me too? Did she not write one? No one knows the answer, but that question alone could cut deeper than the letter itself. The letter didn't just reveal Diana's love, it exposed everything William has buried to stay strong. His role, his responsibilities, and the image of a stable monarchy all were shaken by a few lines of paper from 1997. And those few lines didn't just reopen wounds, they pulled back the curtain on what really tore these two brothers apart. That's what we reveal next. The rift. What went wrong between the brothers? To understand how Diana's letter stings so deeply now, we have to look at how far things have fallen. Once side by side, William and Harry are now living 2 completely different lives, one rooted in tradition, the other in rebellion. The bond Diana treasured is fractured, and it didn't happen overnight. The cracks began years ago, long before Harry married Meghan Markle in 2018. Insiders say tension was already building as Harry began to feel like the spare, a label he later used in the title of his memoir. William, often busy with royal duties, reportedly grew frustrated with Harry's shifting priorities and refusal to follow the palace's playbook. But it was Meghan's arrival that turned those cracks into chasms. William is said to have warned Harry to slow down before the engagement. Harry took that as judgment, not just of Meghan, but of his ability to make his own decisions. The fallout was instant. Trust broke, sides were taken, and Diana's sons were no longer allies. They were opponents, both wounded and stubborn. Then came January 2020. Megxit. Harry and Meghan announced they were stepping back from royal duties. William was blindsided, royal insiders revealed. Despite public statements of support, behind closed doors, emotions were raw. Harry later accused the royal family of neglect and made bold claims in interviews that left William heartbroken and furious. Diana's letter, now revealed in 2024, brings all of this into painful focus. Her hopes for unity, her plea for protection between the brothers, all of it shattered by choices, misunderstandings, and the heavy weight of royal expectation. One quote from Harry in his memoir, Spare, resonates even louder in light of the letter. "My brother was my arch-nemesis, but I still loved him." It's tragic, because Diana never imagined her boys would grow into men at odds. And now, her voice, reaching out from decades past, forces everyone to ask, was this rift avoidable? Did they forget who they were before the palace got in the way? As the brothers drift further apart, Diana's letter stands as the one thing that still connects them. But maybe that's what makes it so painful for both. Coming up next, Diana's legacy as a mother, and what this message truly says about the heart she left behind. Diana's legacy, a mother's message beyond time. Even decades after her death, Princess Diana's voice still echoes through the world. But this letter, hidden for over 25 years, offers a version of Diana that few have ever truly seen. Not the people's princess, not the global icon, but simply a mother. And in that role, she may have left behind her most powerful legacy. Diana had always tried to shield William and Harry from the brutal glare of royal life. She took them to amusement parks, sat with them on the floor during interviews, and refused to let their titles rob them of childhood. In the letter to Harry, she writes, "I want you to be free, not trapped by duty, but led by love." It's a line that could redefine how the world understands her parenting. This note confirms what many always believed, that Diana didn't want her sons to simply survive the crown. She wanted them to escape it, if it ever stopped serving their happiness. For Harry, those words might feel like a final blessing, proof that his decision to leave royal life wasn't betrayal, but fulfillment of a wish his mother never said aloud in public. And for William, the impact is more complicated. Diana's values, love, compassion, emotional truth, are principles William has carried too, just within the boundaries of tradition. But this note shows a Diana who believed in something far more personal than royal protocols. It may force William to reflect on whether he's been honoring the image of his mother or the woman herself. The letter becomes more than a message. It becomes Diana's last lesson. Her seeds, as she called them, weren't just words. They were choices, examples, and quiet acts of rebellion in a world that demanded obedience. Those seeds are now blooming through Harry's independence, through William's humanity, and through the public's continued love for both. "She loved them more than she feared the system," said a royal historian reacting to the leak. And this letter proves it. But not everyone is celebrating, because once this private message leaked, the royal machine kicked into high gear, and the fallout was instant. Reactions from the royal family and media fallout. The second the letter was made public, the atmosphere inside Buckingham Palace reportedly changed. Officially, the palace gave no statement, but behind closed doors, aides were scrambling. Damage control became the new priority. The problem? You can't spin a mother's words, especially when they're this personal. Senior royal insiders were reportedly deeply unsettled. One former aide said, "This was never meant to be seen. Diana's letters were sacred. For it to leak now, and it's a nightmare." The biggest fear? that it would stir public sympathy once again, not just for Diana, but for Harry, who many in the royal circle believe has caused chaos since leaving in 2020. And that's exactly what happened. Across social media, Diana's quotes trended for days. Hashtags like #HadDiana-was-right and Char letters from Diana took over timelines. Royal fans, especially younger generations, flooded comment sections with support for Harry and criticism toward the monarchy. Many believed the letter validated Harry's story. Others questioned the palace's silence, calling it cold, calculating, or proof they still haven't learned. The press went wild. Some outlets focused on the emotional tone of the letter. Others used it to reignite debates around Harry and Meghan Markle, bringing their royal exit back into focus. Commentators couldn't agree on who leaked it. Some suspect it came from Harry's circle, while others believe it was a former staff member acting independently. But everyone agreed on one thing: the timing couldn't have been worse or more symbolic. Even within the royal family, reactions were mixed. While King Charles reportedly viewed the leak as unhelpful, some say Queen Camilla was furious that the letter centered so heavily on Diana's love for Harry. Insiders hinted that Kate Middleton, often seen as the family's emotional anchor, felt heartbroken for William and worried about how deeply the letter would affect him. But perhaps the most powerful reaction is the one we haven't seen. From Harry himself. No interview, no post, just silence. And in that silence, the world is left to wonder. Will he speak? Will this letter become a turning point? And that brings us to the question everyone's asking. What does this message truly mean for Harry? And what will he do next? The next part reveals the emotional weight he now carries, and how one letter may change everything. What it means for Harry: empowerment or emotional weight? For Prince Harry, the leaked letter isn't just a message from the past. It's a mirror to his entire life. A life that's been split between two worlds, the one he was born into and the one he chose. And now, hearing his mother's voice again, uncensored, unfiltered, and deeply personal, is both empowering and crushing. At its heart, the letter feels like validation. You may not always walk the path they expect, but walk it anyway, as long as it's yours. That one sentence could sum up Harry's entire post-royal journey. From stepping back in January 2020 to moving to California, to publicly challenging the institution he once served, Harry has often been accused of betraying tradition. But now, many see this letter as proof he's simply fulfilling his mother's final wish. Still, even empowerment comes with a cost. Sources close to Harry say he was emotional but silent when the letter was revealed to him. One friend said, "It felt like she was speaking to him from the grave, and it broke him." Because as much as the letter may support his decisions, it also forces Harry to revisit everything he's lost. His relationship with William, the family bond, and the mother he was never ready to say goodbye to. There's also the pressure of what to do next. Should he speak publicly? Use the letter in a memoir sequel? Read it aloud in a documentary? Some believe this could be the centerpiece of a new chapter, a final message from Diana used to reshape his narrative on a global scale. Others argue the letter is too sacred for public consumption and should remain a private treasure between mother and son. But maybe the real weight isn't in how Harry uses the letter. It's in how he lives with it. Every sentence carries a memory. Every word is a whisper from someone he lost at just 12 years old. It's more than paper. It's permission. It's pain. It's peace. Don't let them change you. That's how she signed off. And Harry, for better or worse, never did. So now the question is, Will this note heal the wounds between the brothers, or will it mark the final chapter? That's where we end, with the cliffhanger that still hangs over the House of Windsor. Where things go from here, the aftermath and cliffhanger. Now that Diana's letter is out, the palace can't ignore it, the press won't forget it, and the public won't stop talking about it. But the biggest question remains unanswered. What happens next? Will Prince William and Prince Harry speak? Will this emotional spark finally light the way to reconciliation? Insiders say William has remained in quiet reflection since the letter surfaced. Some believe he may reach out privately. Others doubt that call will ever come. The distance between them isn't just physical, it's emotional, and it's been building for over 6 years. Royal advisors are reportedly urging caution. A meeting between the brothers would draw worldwide attention. Every move would be dissected. But perhaps that's exactly why something needs to happen. Because this letter didn't just reopen wounds, it reminded the world of the love Diana fought so hard to preserve between her sons. Meanwhile, Harry is staying silent, at least for now. Some suggest a quiet reunion might already be in the works, possibly in early 2025. A charity event? A memorial visit? Nothing is confirmed. But after this letter, nothing feels impossible either. The royal family itself faces new pressure. Critics want transparency, supporters want unity, and many believe the monarchy must finally reckon with the emotional damage its traditions have caused. One commentator summed it up simply: "This isn't about crowns anymore, it's about sons." And then there's the public. Across generations, people are reacting not as royal watchers, but as human beings. Because at the heart of this story is a mother, a letter, and 2 boys she never got to finish raising. And now, the world waits to see what they'll do with her final words. So what comes next? An apology? A meeting? Another silence? Or maybe, just maybe, the beginning of a reunion Diana always dreamed of, but never got to see. Diana's secret message has reopened old wounds, igniting emotions no royal statement can silence. As Harry carries her final words, and William wrestles with tears and memory, one truth remains. Diana's voice is louder than ever. Will it reunite her sons, or mark the final divide? Only time will tell.